Hello guys, welcome to the third step of the video about the book, The 4-Hour Work Week. This one is going to be about automation. How can you eliminate yourself out of the equation? So, being a new rich is not just about working smarter, it's also about building a system that is going to replace yourself. Very well, but first you need to understand which jobs you need to eliminate and which ones you should delegate. So, everything that is unimportant for your business and you can easily eliminate, well, just cut it off. You want to have an effective and efficient team, so don't waste your time as well. Remember this principle: before you add people to your team, you want to redefine the rules and the processes. Did you know that most successful companies, they don't answer their own phone calls, they don't manufacture their own products, they don't make their own shipments, and they don't service their own customers? They hire outsourcing teams to make this job for themselves. They handle all of this to them, and this way they free their time for the important things. Your goal in here is to create a business that can run by himself and not consuming your time. What you need for do this? You just need cash flow and time. But how? Well, this video is about being efficient and effective, so I'm going to give you the answer in the fewest number of steps. So, step number one is find an affordably reachable niche market. For this one, I want you to think about what is the business that you know the best. Well, you might want to ask yourself this: what are the groups that you belong to or have belonged to in the past few years? Well, it can be both social or professional. Now that you find out something that you truly understand, I want you to think about what is the best way for you to advertise in that specific target. Well, what type of advertisements are going to help you to reach the most majority of people? Now, let's go to step number two, and this one is brainstorm your own product. Now that you have found a specific task, a specific market, and you found the best way for you to advertise in this one, well, now it is time for you to find something to sell. The goal in here is for you to come up with some product creative ideas. I want you to brainstorm about this market and to try to find out some products that are going to fill gaps that you have found in this market. And the best way and the best thing is that you don't really have to create any product yet, so your risk is like zero. Now let's go to step number three, and this one is micro-test your products. Well, intuition and experience are poor predictors of which products are going to be the greatest hits or just a complete failure. If you have a number of people in a room and if you ask them which one of them are willing to buy your own product, chances are that most of them are going to say yes, because the social pressure of being accepted. But if you tell them that you got some samples in your car and you ask them again which one of them are willing to buy it, chances are that they are going to find some excuses. So, don't ask people if they would buy your product. Ask them to buy. And the best way for you to do this is to use the internet or some magazines or whatever. So I'm going to give you some examples. Put an audition on eBay and see how much people are willing to buy your product, and then cancel this audition at the last minute. So in this way you get some ideas how far are people willing to spend for your own product. The other thing is for you to put some advertisement in some magazines or in some newspapers. Well, and if this way you can see the number of shipment orders that you are going to get. If this number is high enough to pull some trigger in you to start manufacturing, well, here's your answer. Or if you want to do something more related to the 21st century, you can just build your own website where people can buy your product. And you can also advertise it with some Google AdWords, which are a credible tool for you to use. And if you see the results are going to prove you right, well, here is your door to success. So now that you find a beautiful product that it's selling, it is time for you to eliminate the human element. Remember, our goal in here is not to create the largest business, but to create a business that is going to bother you as little as possible. And how can you do this? Well, you can just start by contracting some outsourcing teams that are specific in a given task. So this way you don't really have to do that task anymore. And you also want to hire some people that's going to give you some fully detailed reports. Remember, you want to cut yourself out of the equation and free your time, but you also want to leave an end in the business for you don't let it sink in. You don't want to see all your job go to waste. Another thing you should do is you want to make sure that information runs freely between every outsourcing teams. And you also want to give some permission for people to make unexpected decisions. And remember that people are smarter when they are just given some responsibility. It's like the intelligence comes in every time that you give them responsibilities. So, in order for you to free your time, you don't want them to call you every single time that you have some decisions to make, some decisions in a process to make. So, give them authorization to make decisions for themselves. Like, give them a ceiling, like, until this ceiling you can make authorizations for your own selves, you can make decisions for yourself. Well, give them this and free your time. Well, thank you guys very much for watching. This was step number 3, was automation. See you next video with step number 4.